This is News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4. Tomorrow is Election Day, and of course it's also an alert day. So when a lot of people are out and about to vote, we have the potential for some stronger storms.
That's right. Let's get a look at your first storm forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington. Alex, how's it looking for tomorrow?
Armand, Brady, yeah, the timing just could not be worse with folks being out and about and voting. And we have a cold front coming through. It's muggy out here on the patio right now. It'll be muggy tomorrow, and that's an ingredient that you need for severe weather. Hopefully this does not pan out, but right now, alert day conditions are a distinct possibility to evolve during the afternoon hours, especially for Madison and areas north and east. We could see a couple storms with isolated strong winds. We can't rule out a weak tornado or two across portions of southern Wisconsin. Right now, though, you're probably wondering, well, where are these storms? Nothing on radar 3000. Looking across the rest of southern Wisconsin, nothing on radar 3000 now. But we will have a soaking rain build back in tonight. That soaking rain will precede the cold front that comes through Tuesday afternoon. Coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track that soaking rain and how much rain we could get yet tonight, and then also that line of potential strong to severe thunderstorms across the area Tuesday afternoon in just a little bit.
Alex, thank you. And with one day until Election Day, candidates are making their final push to get votes out.
And that includes Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate. Walz made a stop in La Crosse earlier and is now in Milwaukee. That's where we find Maddie Heimsch. Maddie, good evening.
Hey guys, I am outside the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center in West Allis, just a little bit outside of Milwaukee. This is where Tim Walz is about to make his final campaign push, and he is not the only one. Walz was in La Crosse and Stevens Point earlier today. Vance was also in La Crosse. He traveled to a couple more states. He's going to be in Michigan, Pennsylvania. Harris is spending her entire day in Pennsylvania, and Trump is also going to be in Pennsylvania, as well as North Carolina and Michigan. All four of those big candidates stumping through as expected those swing states. So like I said, Vance and Walz were both in La Crosse earlier this morning, making that push to Wisconsin voters, and they both talked about young people in their speeches. There was a theme there about what the future is going to look like for young people under their policies. Take a listen to what they both had to say.
Thanks to Kamala Harris's open border, you've got thousands upon thousands of children in Wisconsin schools who don't even speak English because they're the children of illegal immigrants. And what does that do to the quality of the education for Wisconsin children?
Our daughters now, those people you're thinking of, those loved ones that are in your minds right now, they have fewer rights than their mothers and grandmothers had. They are more at risk than they've ever been.
So like I said, both candidates talking about young people, that next generation. You heard Vance talking about immigration, how it affects schools, and Walz talking about abortion and its effect on young women. Again, both candidates are sticking to those really strong topics. Abortion is a strong one for the Harris-Walz campaign. Immigration a strong one for the Trump-Vance ticket. And like I said, they're really not persuading anymore. They're in that get out the vote phase of the campaign, just one day left. So they're sticking to those topics that they know they do well in. So like I said, just one day until final push, final election day. Early voting is over now, and they are making those final pushes. We'll hear a little bit more from voters in just a moment. For now, I'm going to send it back to you guys. Reporting live in West Allis, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Maddie. We now know how many people voted early in our state. In-person absentee voting ended on Sunday, and we're seeing a contrast to the last election. You'll remember in 2020, by-mail voting set records in Wisconsin. This year, there's a record number of in-person absentee voters. In total, about 950,000 Wisconsinites cast a ballot during the in-person absentee voting period this election cycle. That's a record number. Meanwhile, eligible Wisconsinites requested nearly 645,000 by-mail absentee ballots.
And our Braden Ross spoke with some of those early voters in Waukesha today and others who are saving their ballots for tomorrow.
Braden, how are Waukesha voters feeling on this election eve?
Yeah, put it this way, you guys, Wisconsin voters, especially those in key Waukesha County, are just ready for this election to be over. I'm sure many of us feel the same way. Just like those numbers suggest, many of the people I talked to voted early this year, saying they just wanted to get it done and not have to worry about anything going wrong tomorrow. But others like Pelham Hazler said they like the tradition of casting their ballots on Election Day, but he assured me he's going to vote no matter what it takes tomorrow. When I asked him why, he invoked the Founding Fathers.
We had a revolution. And what are we going to do if people don't like the way that we continue to rule the country in the future? Are we going to have another revolution like that? And Thomas Jefferson said, no, because the next revolution will be handled at the ballot box. If you want to have a voice in this country, even if you feel like your voice doesn't matter, if everybody did say that, then the election would be decided by the House of Representatives and the Senate combined. So, I don't know. I think your voice does matter at least a little bit.
All right, now full transparency, we were on the hunt for undecided voters out in Waukesha County, but as you can imagine, there are not many of them left. Like you said, I mean, almost more than 1 million people voted early already, so undecided, not too many of them, it seems like, here in Wisconsin. And like Maddie said earlier, the real message of these rallies, these last-minute rallies, is to get out the vote, not necessarily to bring people over to their side. So the undecided voter is not really at play anymore. Now it's really about just getting out that vote. For now, reporting live in West Allis, Braden Ross, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Braden. We have less than 24 hours before polls open up for people to go vote, but what happens with the ballots that have already been cast through the mail or early in-person voting?
Our Jalen Banks spent the afternoon in Janesville to find out how the city counts their absentee ballots. Jalen?
Armand and Brady, the city of Janesville uses a central count, which means all absentee ballots will stay at City Hall to be processed by one machine. Those ballots are counted day of the election and not early. Speaking with the Janesville city clerk, they have seen an influx of absentee voting since the pandemic.
If you were counting your absentees out in the field in a regular polling place, you would have to start processing those in between voters. Instead, at a central count, we get to start tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And so we will start counting, starting with Ward 1 at 7 a.m., and we will count those absentee ballots all the way through until we're done.
The city clerk shares with me the city of Janesville had 17,000 people vote absentee this election. Now tonight at 5, I'll take you behind the scenes of where the central count takes place.
Thank you, Jalen. Dane County is the fastest growing county in Wisconsin. With that growth comes an increased need for housing and community collaboration. The 2025 Dane County budget will address some of those needs with what County Executive Jamie Kuhn calls historic investments. $30 million will go toward housing, veterans resources, and expanding support for other vulnerable populations. Kuhn signed the budget earlier today at Sunshine Place in Sun Prairie. The Community Resource Hub is experiencing an increase in demand for help. In turn, the county is investing $2 million in its programs.
When I introduced the budget in September, I said that we were committed to filling gaps for our community members and increasing access to services in high-needs areas. I said we were dedicated to being a partner in addressing the housing crisis, providing quality mental and behavioral health services, and protecting our natural resources, all while ensuring taxes remain reasonable for families. I believe we have achieved those goals here today.
The money Sunshine Place received will grow its work in northeastern Dane County through renovating and expanding its facilities.
Well, still ahead on Live at 4, how D.C. is preparing for potential chaos on Election Day.
Plus, who is the average first-time home buyer in America? We'll have a look at that when we come back.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Updy, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
I'm a steel worker. I grew up right here on a little family farm. Trump was here campaigning with Elon Musk. Now, there's a prime example of who he keeps close. Donald Trump cares about his billionaire friends. He's just going to turn around and give them more tax breaks. But Kamala Harris is fighting for the working class. She'll make billionaires pay their fair share. That way, working people get a fair shot. Elon Musk is voting for his money, and I'm voting for mine. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Next January, one of us will be president. If it's Donald Trump, he will wake up every day and stew over his enemies list. That will help no one. If I am president, I'll be focused on my to-do list for you, the American people. I'll cut costs by cracking down on corporate price gouging, make housing more affordable, lower taxes for middle-class families, and protect Social Security. I will focus on getting things done. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message. Let's get to work. I, Kamala J.B. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Madison police are investigating after gunfire damaged a community center building hosting a birthday party. This was on Manor Drive on the city's south side. Officers responded to the area at about 9:30 Friday night. There, they found shell casings. In addition to the community center, another building had damage. Thankfully, no one got hurt. This investigation is ongoing. The police haven't arrested anyone yet, and they're asking anyone with information to contact the Madison Area Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. That's 608-266-6014. You can also submit an anonymous tip at p3tips.com.
In recent weeks, Elon Musk has emerged as a figure within U.S. politics. In July, the tech billionaire endorsed Trump and has been posting a stream of political messages since, many of those containing false claims about the election. The Center for Countering Digital Hate says those posts have gotten more than 17 billion views. The group says that reach would cost a typical political campaign about $24 million. The center's been a target of Musk's. He recently referred to it as, quote, a criminal organization.
Washington's preparing for potential upheaval in response to who wins the election. Security measures, including fencing, went up at the White House, Vice President's residence, and the Capitol as of this morning. Last week, CBS obtained a bulletin from the Department of Homeland Security that says threat actors are likely to leverage claims of election fraud to drive violence.
And tomorrow, you might be anxiously watching for the latest numbers on how Wisconsin voted. We'll be updating you all night with the latest information. Pulling from two sources, CBS and the Associated Press, AP has a 99.9% accuracy rating. Still, the head of the state's election commission says we might not have the state's results for a while.
Folks shouldn't be surprised if it takes time for unofficial results to come in. Election officials are always going to prioritize accuracy, integrity, and transparency over speed.
It's important to remember any results we get tomorrow are completely unofficial. They haven't been vetted, which happens in the days after the unofficial results come in. That certification process happens publicly.
In the Middle East, the Israeli army has officially notified the United Nations of its plan to ban working with the Agency for Palestinian Relief. Last month, the Israeli parliament voted through legislation to ban the UN's Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees.
We oppose that legislation. We have serious concerns about the implications of it being fully implemented, as well as our concerns about the underlying humanitarian situation in Gaza even before Israel passed this legislation.
Earlier this year, the UN fired more than a dozen staffers within the agency for alleged involvement in the October 7th attacks. The head of the UNRWA says this legislation will only deepen the suffering of Palestinians, especially in Gaza.
Today, unionized Boeing workers are voting on whether to accept a contract offer or continue the costliest U.S. strike of the century. The strikes lasted more than 7 weeks and shut down production of most Boeing passenger planes. A vote to ratify the contract would clear the way for Boeing to start that production up again. If the union votes to reject Boeing's offer, the company will continue to fall financially, and that will further affect global travel.
Well, people around the world are honoring the life and music of legend Quincy Jones. Jones died last night at the age of 91 in his home in Bel Air. Among many things, Jones is known for producing Michael Jackson's Thriller, the best-selling album of all time. We Are the World, the best-selling single of all time, came after, and it brought together the greatest artists in a generation for famine relief in Africa. With 28 Grammys to his name, Jones is being celebrated as one of the greatest music producers of all time.
Americans buying a home for the first time are older and richer than ever. A new survey from the National Association of Realtors shows between July 2023 and June 2024, the median first-time home buyer was 38 years old, a record high, and making $97,000. And a record number of those home buyers used their inheritance to afford a down payment. A generation ago, the typical first-time buyer was in their late 20s.
A new study says reducing sugar during pregnancy may cut a child's risk of chronic illness in adulthood. Researchers with the journal Science say women who cut sugar while pregnant and reduce their kids' sugar intake up to age 2 can decrease the risk of type 2 diabetes by 35%. It can also drop the risk of high blood pressure by about 20%.
One way or another, we're all affected by cancer. This Lung Cancer Awareness Month, we're sharing the story of a woman who got out of hospice care. In 2019, avid hiker Diane Althaus received a devastating diagnosis. She had stage 4 lung cancer. By 2022, she was in hospice at one of the leading innovators in cancer research, the UW-Carbone Cancer Center.
Honestly, 20 years ago, we would say this is cancer, this is lung cancer, and this is where the story would end. But now we actually go much deeper and try to find out what kind of lung cancer is this. Does this cancer have specific mutations? We typically look at 500 different genes with some of our tests to find what mutations, what genes are altered.
Now she's back on the trail. She found a new treatment option and has this message.
What I have said in the past, and it continues to be my mantra, never give up. Just never give up. You just never know what might be around the corner, and advocate for yourself. Even if you think that this could be the end of the road.
If you're looking to support people battling lung cancer, the American Lung Association is accepting donations. Just head to lung.org.
In our weather, we've been soaking up some rain, and Alex is looking ahead to the potential for storms tomorrow. Here he is now. Alex?
Yeah, we need the rain, but we most certainly don't want severe weather, and you're not thinking severe weather in early November, and certainly what poor timing on election day. There's never good timing, but on election day when a lot of folks are out, that's why we are highlighting the potential for alert day conditions as we go into Tuesday afternoon. This would be mainly for Madison and areas towards the north and towards the east. Gusty winds, and if we do get any of these storms, we can't rule out the potential for a weak tornado or two. Well, where's all the water right now? We had showers, we had thunderstorms yesterday, dumping a decent amount of water over southern Wisconsin. The next batch of rain now is way off towards the south and towards the west, but it will eventually be working towards the north and towards the east as we use future track here. By the time we get a little bit later into the evening, 9, 10 o'clock, we'll have more showers and a couple of thunderstorms moving towards southern Wisconsin. Let's plan the evening together here. Temperatures, 62 degrees in November. Normal highs are right around 52 degrees. There are those showers building in as we head towards 10 o'clock. But now I want to turn our attention to Election Day Tuesday. This is what one weather model is showing the potential for a line of thunderstorms starting to pop up right around the noon hour. Some of these storms, if we get enough heating during the day, that's that ingredient that we need for severe weather. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it does, we could have a couple of thunderstorms that could produce strong gusty winds. We can't rule out an isolated tornado or two lining up from the Dells to Madison to Janesville right around 3 o'clock, and then that's out of here by the time we get to 6 o'clock. So from 12 o'clock to approximately 5 o'clock on Election Day Tuesday, that's that window of opportunity where we could be looking at the potential for a few stronger storms. Tonight's rain plus any thunderstorms we get on Tuesday is going to eye up the best chance for rain, let's say along U.S. Highway 151 and points to the south and east towards Janesville, lesser amounts to the north and west towards Viroqua and up towards Camp Douglas, with this next batch of rain coming up from the south and from the west. After Alert Day Tuesday, and hopefully that doesn't materialize, dry for a few days, then another wet weather system moves into the Midwest. This one will be a little bit on the cooler side, so we're not expecting thunderstorms as it looks like at this point in time Saturday and Sunday. Brief break Monday going on into Tuesday with another wet weather system moving towards the area as we go out into the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm running for the Senate because I love our country, but sometimes I don't recognize it anymore. What is right has become wrong, and what is wrong has become right. Politicians like Tammy Baldwin have led us down the wrong path. It doesn't have to be this way. We can lower the cost of food and medicine, close our border, and stop the flow of deadly drugs. Let's work together to restore the American dream and give our children a brighter future. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
And the punishment is real. Women denied care, unable to get pregnant again, traumatized, scarred for life. Young women who didn't need to die. Now 1 in 3 women live under a Trump abortion ban. And if he's elected, everyone will.
There has to be some form of punishment.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Tammy Baldwin has our back. Tammy broke the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel.
Thanks to Tammy Baldwin, my daughter's inhaler is now only $35 a month.
Tammy's Dairy Business Innovation Act has helped us hire more workers.
Tammy Baldwin's leading the charge to restore Roe v. Wade.
Tammy Baldwin fought like hell to save my retirement.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
To have someone in Washington that's got your back, oh man, that's gold.
Thanksgiving is just around the corner, which means it's time to help those in need around us.
Josh Sprider joins us with how you can make a positive impact for local families ahead of the holiday in the 608.
We are talking turkey because Thanksgiving is officially 3 weeks from Thursday, and we need your help getting groceries for thousands of Dane County families ahead of Turkey Day. For the past 36 years, the Goodman Community Center Thanksgiving Basket Drive has been a tradition, with many long-serving staff, volunteers, and their children returning year after year. News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of this event. Each year, we hear from families about how meaningful their Thanksgiving basket is to them. And with the unprecedented need the Goodman Community Center pantry is seeing right now, these baskets are going to mean even more this year. 4,000 families registered for everything needed to prepare a Thanksgiving traditional holiday meal. That's more than 25,000 Dane County residents, including more than 10,000 children. So here's a look at what is needed this year. 4,000 frozen turkeys, 8,000 cans of vegetables, 4,000 boxes of mac and cheese, 4,000 gravy any kind, 4,000 cans of cranberry sauce, 4,000 broth, 4,000 stuffing any kind, and 4,000 bottles of vegetable oil, along with 4,000 aluminum roaster pans. So those are some pretty big numbers. We need your help in making this happen, so donations can be dropped off at the Goodman Community Center Monday through Friday, the 18th through the 22nd, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Goodman Gym. Then on Saturday and Sunday, November 23rd and 24th at the Wabeesa Street location from 9 to 5. And if you want to drop off even sooner, that's no problem too. You can stop by the Goodman Center Ironworks building any day this month from 9 to 8. However, the Goodman Center is asking you to please save those frozen turkey donations until the week of the 18th. You can find all of this information right now, including financial donations and volunteer information on channel3000.com. In the 608, I'm Josh Sprider, News 3 Now.
And speaking of holidays, you know that Josh put up all of his Christmas decorations already.
Already? He skipped a whole holiday.
He's ready. I think that was his big weekend thing. So, you know, if you're feeling Christmassy, just go over to his house and get an early start.
Actually, you could probably do it even before you get to his house once you sit in the car. Because still ahead on Live at 4, segue after your election forecast. Is it too early for Christmas music?
I see what you did there.
Hey.
Halloween might only have been last week, but you might already have heard a few Christmas carols. Kyle Pazorski brings us the story behind one local radio station's tradition.
I felt the Christmas magic the minute I stepped into the store. Welcome into Buzzed in Madison. We're back at the Bruce Company, the best time of year around here.
I do love Christmas here.
Well, you live Christmas.
I do live
are
Christmas
Mrs.
here.
Claus.
If I'm not covered in glitter, I'm covered in flocking.
Not only does the Bruce Company have you covered for so many different events to do with your family, to come for ladies' night, for the open house, for meeting Santa and the reindeer, you have it all. Really go to the website for all of these things, right?
Yes, and this weekend is our kickoff for the holiday season. And so we have ladies' night on Thursday, and then the open house continues through Sunday.
I have already done a little Christmas shopping. I have a pile over in the corner.
And another pile here.
I love this pile. So first, some nice, buttery, soft lounge pants that you can wear all Christmas season, right?
What else you got in there?
A beautiful, great new hat, because it's just, I mean, feel that.
It is pretty cozy.
It's amazing. You want to elevate your Christmas game right here with this amazing ribbon. Look at this beautiful topper. How beautiful
This is
would
super
that be?
cute, and this is really luxurious.
I mean, what do you have? I'll give you a chance.
I've got two things in here. I have got holiday ribbon candy, so vintage and retro. Even if you don't eat it, putting it in a bowl is so cute.
Okay.
And then I love these Austrian water globes because the snowfall is the best of any water globe ever. Don't you want to just crawl inside
It
and
does.
live in
And
there?
speaking of vintage Christmas, snow globes are the epitome of that.
I think
right?
so too. Yes.
Just Christmas memories.
Crawl in there and live a little Christmas memory.
Or crawl into the Bruce Company and get everything you need to make your holiday season joyful and full of memories. For Lisa, I'm Emmy, and
we're buzzed into Madison.
I need this ribbon.
Washington is corrupt. Senator Baldwin says she fights against Wall Street, and yet she lives with a Wall Street executive and gets all this money from Wall Street. She says she's standing up to Big Pharma and Big Tech, but look at the money she rakes in from Big Pharma, Big Tech, and their executives. Senator Baldwin doesn't work for you, she works for them. I'm Eric Hovde, I approve this message. I'm not taking their special interest money. I'll only work for you.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, that is a very nice representation of fall right now. Some leaves are still hanging on to the trees.
Still hanging out with some gloomy skies in the background because we're watching Election Day storms. Those are other weather birds for today. Isn't that right, Alex?
Yes, absolutely true. I had a concern a couple of days ago that as this weather system that we've been dealing with for the past couple of days would come through with the cold front during Election Day, and that cold front could mean that we could have a couple of thunderstorms that pop up during the afternoon hours, provided we get enough heat ahead of that cold front, that we could be looking at some isolated strong winds, and we can't rule out a weak tornado or two. One thing to think about as we go into Election Day Tuesday, if it's raining through a good portion of the morning, that will lower the heat. Hopefully that's the case. Then we won't get those thunderstorms to pop up in the afternoon. But there is a distinct possibility that this could materialize, and with the sensitivity of the time of year, and of course with all the folks that are out voting, we wanted to emphasize this potential. Looking right here in Radar 3000 in Dane County, I got to call it out here. I should have zoomed in a little bit more. I got a shower right now forming right above me, so I'm getting wet out here right now. But it's just a tiny little shower. It's mostly dry across southern Wisconsin. A little bit of mist out there, but we will get that rain, heavier rain, to move into south central Wisconsin as we go a little bit later in the evening as we head towards 9, 10 o'clock, pushing into portions of far southern Wisconsin down towards Monroe. But coming up in Maine weather, we're going to track that potential line of strong thunderstorms for Election Day afternoon, and I'll show you how much water we can expect with tonight's rain and any additional rain we get tomorrow.
Thank you, Alex. We have an update on the Verona car crash that left 5 people dead Friday evening.
The car had hit a tree and caught on fire. Our Merrill Hubbard is here to tell us more about what might have happened. Merrill?
Yeah, Armand Brady, we know that the car was a Model S Tesla and that 3 of the victims were from Wisconsin and the other 2 were from Minnesota. The crash happened on Range Trail just north of Sunset Drive in the town of Verona. 5 people were in the red 2016 Model S Tesla when the car crashed into the tree and caught on fire. 1 man was from Belleville, another 2 victims were from Crandon, and the last 2 victims were from Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. We do have sound from dispatchers who were responding to the incident.
All I know is vehicle versus a tree, and now they're saying that there's large flames. And the caller can hear screaming and people yelling to get out.
Right now, we do not know what might have caused the deaths. Per Tesla's safety manual, it says that if the car has no power, the front doors can open using the manual door release located in the front of the window switches. As for the back seat, instructions say to fold back the edge of the carpet below the rear seats to expose the mechanical release cable. Then pull this cable toward the center of the vehicle. Now, officials are still investigating what caused the crash and deaths. The name of the victims have not yet been released.
Merrill, thank you. And on this election eve, the markets slide. The Dow falls more than 257 points, the Nasdaq down 60, and the S&P loses 16.
And here's something that will divide Americans. I'm not talking about the election.
Yeah.
How early is too early for Christmas music? Now, if you turned on your radio to Mix 105.1 over the past few days, you may have said nope, and others may have kept listening to it.
I don't mind getting in the spirit.
Why
News
not?
3 Now's Kyle Pazorski visited the radio station today with more on The Switch.
The flip was switched on Friday, and now Mix 105.1 is bringing holiday cheer to the Madison area.
It's not too early for Christmas music.
They've been doing it for 5 years now, playing the holiday tunes leading up to Christmas. Jonathan Sutton, operations manager at Odyssey Madison, tells me a combination of audience and advertiser demand is what has led the station group to move the switch up to the day after Halloween.
I think initially the idea was, can we do 24 hours of Christmas, 7 days a week, a couple weeks before Christmas? Yes. How about 3 weeks before Christmas? Yes. And we kept building and building, and we found that advertisers were interested, and people really want it. They're ready to make that switch and get in the holiday mode. So sure, it works for advertising, but also just for good spirit.
Sutton continues with a very tense time leading up to the election. Spreading cheer is a way to bring people together through music.
Madison's home for the holidays is Mix 105.1, and you get an extra gold star if you get your holiday shopping done before Thanksgiving.
In Madison, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
Well, that's intense.
Yeah.
Get your holiday shopping done already before Thanksgiving?
What about the day before Christmas? That's still fine, right?
Oh, yeah. We love it. We love to see the chaos.
Yeah, that's me.
Kyle, thank you. Folks at Mix 105.1 will continue playing the holiday favorites through Christmas Day. They'll switch back to contemporary hits on December 26th.
And before we go to break, we want to share some important information about how to watch our election coverage tomorrow. We will be starting coverage right here on Channel 3.1 starting at 6:30. Then at 7, our local coverage of the election will start on Television Wisconsin. That's Channel 3.2 and stream on Channel 3000+.
Well, Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, and Robert Zemeckis have re-teamed for the movie Here.
Was the trio enough to fill the theater seats over opening weekend? Will Loper has the answer next in the Loper Report.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
Next January, one of us will be president. If it's Donald Trump, he will wake up every day and stew over his enemies list. That will help no one. If I am president, I'll be focused on my to-do list for you, the American people. I'll cut costs by cracking down on corporate price gouging, make housing more affordable, lower taxes for middle-class families, and protect Social Security. I will focus on getting things done. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message. Let's get to work.
Meet Sarah Kieski. You might see her walking around in her Woke Genius t-shirt. Radical, just like the groups that support her. Kieski supporters want to defund the police. Her allies want to give voting rights to illegals and make it easier for felons to vote. And Kieski is backed by a group that wants to let criminals out early. Want to know where Sarah Kieski stands? Just look at the company she keeps.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde, still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Coming up at 5, how is Janesville speeding up the vote count this election day? We walk you through the special central count system and how it works to get you faster results.
Coming up at 5, we'll be breaking down the potential for alert day conditions on Election Day Tuesday. With enough heating and a cold front, we could be looking at a few strong storms.
And ahead at 6, new district maps could reshape the Wisconsin legislature, pushing candidates into unfamiliar territory. Tonight at 6, see how the battle for control could upend the state's political landscape.
The film Here did not have the power to go there, there being the top of the box office.
Ouch. Will Loper has a look in the Loper Report.
Audiences decided they wanted to be anywhere but here. That is, at the newest Robert Zemeckis film playing in theaters, which struggled in its debut, making only $5 million to end in 5th place. Director Robert Zemeckis has a long history of utilizing visual effects wizardry, from the Back to the Future films to Who Framed Roger Rabbit to the Polar Express. Okay, maybe that last one is more creepy than impressive.
You're gonna get us all in trouble!
In his latest film, Here, Zemeckis locks down the camera for the entire running time of the film, viewing the same spot from the time of dinosaurs to current day. The film focuses on several families, but spends most of its time on the young family, who buy the house in 1945 and have 3 children, the oldest played by Tom Hanks, who later marries Robin Wright.
Right here is where we want to be.
The movie's use of de-aging is the best use of it yet, with Hanks and Wright flawlessly looking like they're in their 20s again. However, it still cannot mask older, raspy voices.
You could spend the rest of the night here.
The themes of life's dreams and regrets are well explored, but the film can feel too much like a staged play, and at times veers into being overly sentimental and sappy.
This was our home. We lived here.
Here is worth seeing, but wait until it's playing at home to watch. Don't rush to theaters to see it. It won't have you saying, "Great Scott!" For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
What do you think?
You know, I'm always that nostalgic, always, gets my tears jerking. So, yeah, I'll probably go see it.
I was getting kind of emotional just watching the clips. So, yeah, I think that'll be it looks like a good movie.
I think so.
Yeah, all right.
Well, coming up, you can win a ticket to an upcoming concert here in Madison.
And all it takes is a little first aid training. We'll show you how when we come back.
Meet Sarah Kieski. You might see her walking around in her Woke Genius t-shirt. Radical, just like the groups that support her. Kieski supporters want to defund the police. Her allies want to give voting rights to illegals and make it easier for felons to vote. And Kieski is backed by a group that wants to let criminals out early. Want to know where Sarah Kieski stands? Just look at the company she keeps.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Crappie, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Crappie want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Crappie get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Upty, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
And the punishment is real. Women denied care, unable to get pregnant again, traumatized, scarred for life. Young women who didn't need to die. Now 1 in 3 women live under a Trump abortion ban. And if he's elected, everyone will.
There has to be some form of punishment.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I'm a steel worker. I grew up right here on the little family farm. Trump was here campaigning with Elon Musk. Now there's a prime example of who he keeps close. Donald Trump cares about his billionaire friends. He's just going to turn around and give them more tax breaks. But Kamala Harris is fighting for the working class. She'll make billionaires pay their fair share. That way working people get a fair shot. Elon Musk is voting for his money, and I'm voting for mine. And I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Take a look at this beautiful view of Salt Lake City, Utah. Wow, but they are a balmy 45 degrees and mostly cloudy. We're a little bit warmer right now.
A little bit, yeah. Well, they can enjoy the view. Yeah. No matter the temperature. Look at that. All right. Well, seriously now, what would you do if someone you know was having a seizure? Unfortunately, the answer is no, I wouldn't know what to do far too often. And 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime.
The Epilepsy Foundation of Wisconsin is partnering with Joey's Song, another epilepsy nonprofit, to save lives and give free tickets to one of Madison's most popular shows.
So here's how it works. You sign up for a free seizure first aid certification and get a free ticket to Joey's Song. Mike Gamal is the founder of Joey's Song, and Sarah Carlson is the executive director of the Epilepsy Foundation of Wisconsin, and you might recognize her, our former colleague here at News 3 Now. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's nice to see you both. So what is a seizure first aid certification, and what are some of the warning signs people can look out for?
Well, the certification is an easy course, free, and one time. So it is what is a seizure, what to look for. There are probably 3 dozen different kinds of seizures. Most people think there is only one, and the kind you see in TV and movies. But you get a certification, and that's good for a couple of years, and you know what to do.
Yeah.
And as related to your second question, the Joey's Song, we decided to partner here.
Yeah, so part of it, as Sarah was saying, is that people are CPR certified and they know what to do if somebody sprains their ankle, but they don't know what to do. And so it's kind of a little sweetener to do it. We put on a concert every year in Madison with lots of pretty cool musicians. And so we decided to work together. If you get your seizure certification, send it into Joey's Song, we'll give you a free ticket to the concert. We figured dangle a little carrot in front of folks to try to make them do stuff.
A little carrot's a bit of an understatement. Joey's Song is a nice lineup.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yes, it is. We're very fortunate. The music community has been very generous with us in their time, and it helps having gone to college with Butch Vig. So when you can dangle a Grammy-winning producer in front of folks, it helps a little bit, too.
Yeah, it helps to have connections.
Sometimes, yeah.
I know it's a very personal topic for both of you. And Mike, how did you start this organization of yours to make a difference for other people?
So my son Joe passed away in 2010 after suffering from a pretty heinous form of epilepsy called Dravet syndrome. And so our family decided we needed to do something to try to help the next family, a phrase that we still use at Joey's Song. And I was able to use those connections in the past. And first started simply, we started making CDs and selling them at the local grocery store, and then it evolved into this concert. And now we've got four nights of shows, 6 shows with Grammy winners and Rock and Roll Hall of Famers all coming to Madison to help us raise money to find cures and treatments for epilepsy, plus getting people out on the streets knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you know, something very personal happened to you which led you to this work. Now, is it interesting to think back how that all happened, and now here you are, and you are trying to help other people as well.
It is sort of surreal, right?
Yeah.
I had a seizure live on air here next to Susan Simon, and she would say, and she was telling me recently that she didn't know what to do. So it is a good thing to know what to do, and luckily I was okay and I was safe.
Yeah.
But I'm so honored to be able to partner with Joey Song. It is an amazing show. Important note though, it is free to get seizure certified, and it does not take a long time. And you get a free ticket. The combination here is just fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And we have, so to sign up for a free seizure first aid course, go to epilepsywisconsin.org, and you can pick a seizure first aid course, then send your certification to Joey Song, like Sarah was saying, joeysong.org, to get your ticket. The concert is Saturday, January 11th at 7 p.m. at the Sylvie. Very good. A lot of time to get this done then.
There's plenty of time, but you got to sign up because we've got a lot of people signing up, and we're going to be giving away 500 free tickets.
So, but when they're gone, they're gone. Not to turn into a used car salesman, but when they're gone, they're gone.
Right.
Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Oh, do you want to go, Armand?
Yeah, sure. Sorry about that. But yeah, Alex, tell us weather looking a little bit dicey tomorrow morning.
Yeah, unfortunately, bear our bad news here. Election Day Tuesday, we could be looking at potential for at least a couple strong storms. That's why we're highlighting this time of year. Of course, a sensitive day with lots of folks out and about. Alert day conditions could evolve. Madison and areas north and east is the target location. We could see an isolated strong wind or perhaps a couple of weak tornadoes with a line of thunderstorms coming through Tuesday afternoon. So those are our primary threats, the wind and a couple weak tornadoes during the afternoon hours. Right now, though, where's that rain? And that rain will build in here, according to Future Track, getting into far southern Wisconsin. So we got this soaking rain, yet another round of it that we'll see tonight. Here in Dane County right now, the windshield wipers might be going if you're on the west side of the Beltline. I was just out on the patio and we had a briefly heavy shower, and the heavy mist out there out ahead of this rain that will eventually take hold across much of southern Wisconsin overnight tonight, with temperatures staying very mild. We're 64, we've got some raindrops right now at the airport, and the dew point is 60. That's a measure of moisture. When it gets to 60, you start to feel that mugginess in the air, and with that humidity, and if we get dry time Tuesday afternoon, line of thunderstorms popping up west of Madison, moving into the Dells to Madison to Janesville area by the time we get to about 3 o'clock. Again, one or two of these storms could be on the stronger side, gusty winds, and we can't rule out a brief tornado. By the time we get to 6 at night, the winds will still be roaring across southern Wisconsin, but the severe weather threat will push off towards the east. So it's from 12 o'clock approximately tomorrow to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that narrow window of opportunity for a couple of severe storms. Heaviest rain is going to be from Madison and points south and east towards Janesville. A little bit less, still anywhere between a 1/10, quarter to half inch north and west of Madison between tonight and going on into Election Day Tuesday. After Election Day Tuesday, dry period of time. Next wet weather system is Saturday going on into Sunday, and then perhaps more rain by the middle of next week. We'll be right back.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
After After careful review of medical guidance and research on pain relief, my recommendation is simple. Every home should have Salon Paws. Powerful, yet non-addictive. Targeted and long-lasting. I recommend Salon Paws. It's good medicine.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is Home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stile is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stile is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stile, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad.
Take a look at this, a California university's annual event pitting pumpkins against gravity. Oh, and this is in the name of science.
This is in the name of science and every dude's fantasy. Chico State's annual pumpkin drop experiment uses pumpkins to teach the principles of physics and gravity to elementary school students in the widest arrays of wild and wacky ways. Whoa, look at that. They're gonna explode? Oh, they didn't. The annual event allows the young minds access to complex scientific concepts in a fun and colorful way.
Do you think if we went on the roof we could do this?
Oh, I think we should.
Okay. All right, you'll find us up there in no time. We'll be right back.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand healthcare access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
I'm running for the Senate because I love our country, but sometimes I don't recognize it anymore. What is right has become wrong, and what is wrong has become right. Politicians like Tammy Baldwin have led us down the wrong path. It doesn't have to be this way. We can lower the cost of food and medicine, close our border, and stop the flow of deadly drugs. Let's work together to restore the American dream and give our children a brighter future. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message, and I'm asking for your vote.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Todd Novak is a compassionate and independent voice for us in the Assembly, but Elizabeth Grabby will tell any lie she needs to get herself elected. Grabby's dishonesty about Todd Novak is shameful. The truth, Todd Novak passed legislation protecting exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother, and voted to expand access to birth control, not ban it. It's time to reject the desperate and ridiculous lies from Elizabeth Grabby and her radical allies. We deserve better. Todd Novak for Assembly. We know what Joan Ballweg wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballweg. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
We've had enough of this crap from Eric Hovde.
We're tired of his lies.
Hovde spent $100 million on his garbage attack ads.
Smearing Tammy Baldwin and trying to buy our Senate seat. But we know Tammy Baldwin.
She's protected our jobs.
She's taken on the pharmaceutical companies. And she's leading the fight to restore Roe v. Wade. So Eric Hovde, take your lies back to California.
Wisconsin's not for sale.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Sarah Kieski, she supports